පත මොහුගේ ඉදිරි සියලු කටයුතු on the facts and sharp Neradi Olibarapu ජනප්‍රියතම ක්‍රීඩාවට
a single point
Zambia what is out of the team for domination Waila මොකද දන්නවද කියලා FA Cup champions
A very warm welcome to all of you joining us on Around the Wickets on ThePapare.com. It's been a while since we last spoke to you, but I thought it's appropriate that we come back again once more and try and look at what has happened in the Sri Lankan cricketing scene and what is to happen. Once more with me, it's a privilege to have Farveez Maharoof analysing for us how the Sri Lankan setup, how the Sri Lankan cricketing games have progressed. So let's start off with the Inter-Provincial Super Provincial tournament, as they called it. As you know, it was played amongst 4 teams: Galle, Dambulla, Kandy, Colombo. Now, before I kind of dig into it and analyze the player performance and all that, I want to ask you, are you surprised that Galle won? Because, you know, I don't think Galle were kind of the favourites. There were other teams, but what are your thoughts initially?
I thought when I saw the squads initially, I thought Colombo was the strongest side on paper. But, you know, as it always happens in cricket, you know, the big names doesn't perform on the day. I mean, they lose. So that's what exactly happened with you know, Colombo. And also speaking about Galle, I mean, they were without skipper Suranga Lakmal. Also, he didn't play a single game, and they ended up winning the tournament. And also, what interesting there, out of 3 games, only 1 outright win, that was Dambulla, and still they were runners up. But Galle, with all the bonus points and the first innings points, they ended up with 38 points and you know, crowned as the champions.
Yeah, now that's a very interesting tournament because 4 teams, and as Farveez said, there were top names in the Colombo side. Now, is this the quality of the competition? Now, there are top teams, top players in this side. But now, Galle, by comparison, didn't have those big names, as you said, no Suranga Lakmal. So, is this the quality of the side, quality of the players coming through, or one of those things?
I think one of those things, and also speaking about Roshan Silva, I mean, he has scored what, 535 runs for Galle. I mean, I thought the biggest difference is among all the teams is Roshan Silva. So, you know, when you have a batsman who's in super form, what you have to do, what the other players have to do is just bat around him, and that's exactly what Galle did. They scored a lot of big runs, and those bonus points added in the end, and eventually they became champions. Yeah,
talking about Roshan Silva, now we like to take you through some highlights of that last weekend of games, and Roshan Silva again, I thought was very unfortunate. He should have had twin hundreds, 168 and 89. Of course, Upul Taranga made up for it in the second innings with 100. But like to look at some of the other names that have come into the equation. For example, Manoj Sarachandra, unheard, virtually not one of those big names, getting 100. Then Chamika Karunaratne, highly talented player. I know that he comes from a sporting family. His brothers play badminton, so there has to be something in him. The talent is there. He got 5 for 63 for Kandy. Then Nishan Piris, highly promising young off spinner, hails from Negombo and played under 19 cricket, 6 for 67. Excellent performance for Galle. Then Pathum Nissanka. I had heard that name, but never seen him bat, and kind of a small made in stature, but well, in terms of runs, he's been magnificent. Lairu Madhushankar, heard of him, he's been there for a while, considered more the white ball cricketer, and as I said, Manoj Sarachandra, 103. Now, these are the guys who really stood up and put their hands up. Now, have you seen these guys? Like, have you played with them? Have you watched them closely? These names, Roshan, yes. Upul Taranga, let's leave those 2 out. But let's talk about Chamika Karunaratne, plays for your club, Nishan Piris, the off spinner, Pathum Nissanka, and Manoj Sarachandra, because the other 3 names are known. So let's try and go into the unknown.
I mean, leaving away Roshan and Upul, I think the other 5 guys what you just spoke about, I've played with them for a while now. I think, as you correctly said, you know, those guys are very promising. If you take Chamika Karunaratne, has pace, and you know, he's a guy who come across who has pace from the morning till the evening. I mean, he's a guy who can come back with every spell and same energy levels, and you know, not surprised there he's taking a 5-er. Nishan Piris, I played against him this year. I played the 4-day game and I was very impressed. He's tall, you know, he uses his height, now a good drift, and he bowls very well to the left-handers, and he spins away. And right-handers also, you know, he comes around the wicket, you know, tries to hit your pad, spinning back. Pathum Nissanka, I mean, last couple of years, he's been very impressive.
Small made guy.
Small made guy. I mean, I remember last year, NCC played a game against Kalutari where he was playing last year. And we had Lairu Kumar, Dushman Chamran and myself. And he scored a 50 in about less than 8 overs opening the batting where, you know, and I was like, wow, I mean, where this guy hails from.
Just to stop you there now, he's got 188. Now, 188 is 188. You can't take anything away from that. That's a magnificent effort. Now, is this a boy with potential? Do you think he's someone who can really go on, kick on and make it big?
I think, I mean, if you look at the stat, he batted the entire day to save the game for Kandy. And I think that's a start he needed. I mean, I'm sure this must be his first provincial game ever played. So playing alongside, you know, players like Angelo, Dickwell in the same side, and a good opposition in Colombo, I think. I mean, you know, fantastic to see a young guy coming through. And he shows his potential, batting the entire day, saving the game and scoring 188 not out. I think this might be the change about you know, his career. And speaking about Lairu Marusanga and Sarachandra quickly, Lairu Marusanga, as you said, he's been there for a while. I mean, good to see him.
More as a white ball.
Yeah, white ball. I mean, he's more of a all-rounder who bats a bit. You know, he can clear the boundary and a good field. I think probably the best field in Sri Lanka after Dhanush Gunathilakam. He's one of the top fielders ever. And Manoj Sarachandra has been performing well for Tamil Union for the last few years. I mean, he's a docile batsman, you know, likes to occupy the crease, you know, not much strokes, but he doesn't give the wicket away easily. You know, he puts a price on his wicket, so I'm not surprised him coming to the score. Again, like Pathum Nissanka, this might be the change of career for Manoj Sarachandra as well.
Right, so that's in terms of some of the highlights in the last week, but I think it's important that we look at the top performers of the Inter-Provincial tournament, the 4-day Super tournament. Now we're talking about Test cricket. We're going to play in the West Indies in June. We're going there for 3 Test matches. Now, if you look at the top performers, now Farveez spoke about Roshan Silva, 500 plus runs, 535 at a staggering average of 170 plus runs per innings. Now, before I kind of go into the others, is this Roshan Silva getting better with age? Now, I know that in Sri Lanka there is this habit. I've seen Mahela Jayawardena, I've seen Sangakkara, Angelo Matthews, all these guys with the burden of captaincy just started batting well. Now, here he has no burden of captaincy, but he's just played 3 or 4 test matches and look what he's done. Now, what do you think is happening to his career? Is he I know he's, sorry, I'm asking this question a bit too long, but I need to put all these in. Now, I know that he's matured, he's at the right age, but what would you call these 535 runs in a tournament that is at the highest level of domestic?
I think it reminds me of Michael Hussey, because even Michael Hussey made the debut at 30. I'm sure that Roshan would have, you know, something around 29, 30.
Yeah.
I think Roshan, I've been playing against him for a long time, and as I told you the last show as well. He's a guy who loves to spend the time in the wicket, doesn't give the wicket away easily, put a price on his wicket. So eventually all those hard works are paying off now. I mean, I think he's in his prime now. I think he's one of the, you know, if you take the Sri Lankan 11 for the next series, I think his name will be top number one
That's
pick
going
there.
to be interesting. You know why? Because Angelo Matthews is going to be available. Now I'm going to watch very, very closely who Sri Lanka will be looking at, you know, leaving out. It's a positive headache to speak, but then positive headaches for a team is good, but it's not good for a player. But let's see. I don't want to cast any aspersions.
If you ask me, Angelo will straight away walk into the team. There's no doubt there.
To.
But I mean, I like to see 7 batters playing in West Indies. So if that happens, in my team,
well, then it's fine. But Sri Lanka has gone in with the strategy. Now we are digressing and deviating a little bit. I have a few things to discuss, but quickly I'm asking him now. Sri Lanka's strategy, Hathuru Singha's strategy has been 5 bowlers. So what happens if they stick to the 5 bowlers?
If they stick to the 5 bowlers, I think...
Don't be a selector.
I think in my eyes, it'll be a tough call to make. But if taking the last series against Bangladesh, we played 7 batters with 3 spinners and a fast bowler. But it may differ in West Indies.
The second test, it was 5 bowlers.
Okay, 5 bowlers. And if it's 5 bowlers, I think, as you correctly said, it's going to be a very interesting one to take. But in my, I mean, on form, on numbers, I think it should be in the team.
No, I agree, but it's going to be a tough call. But the rest of the batting, Dickwell, we know about him, 315 runs. But Mahalo Devatta, now that's a name we discussed last time. Ashan Priyanjan, Dasun Shahanaka. Now, Mahalo Devatta, Ashan Priyanjan, as Farveez said the last time, needs to keep knocking at the door. But I've also heard there is a school of thought about Dasun Shanaka being looked at as a possible test all-rounder. Now, is this a kind of a confirmation in his game?
I think so. I mean, I rate him as a. I used to rate him as just a white ball cricketer, but last couple of years he has impressed me a lot with his batting knocks, especially batting at number 4 for SSC and batting at number 6 for Gaul and captaining Gaul for the Glory as well. I think he has made that extra step to be a test cricketer as well. So, I mean, he's in the right path. God knows how he's going to make the 11, but I'm definitely in my eyes he should be in the squad to West Indies.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා රග්බි පිටියේ සතිපතා සිද්ධ වෙන දේවල් දැනගන්න කැමතිද?
රග්බි පිටිය සෑම අඟහරුවාදා දිනකම ඔබ වෙත.
Right, now that is as far as the batting is concerned, but then also when it comes to test cricket you need to get 20 wickets. 20 wickets is the key if you've got to win games. Now, are you surprised? Of course, there are quite a few bowlers that really didn't play. Now, for example, Surangal Akmal didn't play. Dushmantha Chamira was injured. Rangan Herath opted out. Well, he just didn't want to carry on because he's not getting younger. But we looked at the 5 top bowlers in the inter-provincial tournament. Now, I think other than one name, most of the other names are not very well known. Now, Lahiru Gamage is at 2nd place with 10 wickets. Now, he's known, he's played test cricket. But Nisala Tarak, 11 wickets. Kasun Rajitha, been kind of in and out, he's appeared and gone away. He's got 10 wickets. Lahiru Madhushanka again, figuring, now this is very interesting, 9 wickets. And Prabhat Jayasuriya, thought of as a left-arm spinner, he's got 9 wickets. Now, these are the 5 top bowlers, youngsters, Farveez, and above all, 4 of them are seam bowlers, something that we don't see in the Premier tournament in Sri Lanka, where it's the spinners and spinners and spinners. Now, is this a kind of a positive shift from that?
Definitely. I mean, I remember.
So you can't speak as a fast bowler. You need to speak as an observer, as someone.
It's complete opposite. I mean, if you take the provincial the club 4-day tournament, we had all the left-arm spinners in the top 4, and you got 4 fast bowlers in it. So, I mean, this is definitely a positive, especially important tour of West Indies coming up. I think Nisala Tarak, as you correctly said, he's a young guy. He's been bowling well for the last 2-3 years.
He's quite nippy as well. Huh?
He's quite nippy. I mean, I've faced him. I mean, you don't seem like he has the pace. And once you realize, once you go to the middle, you realize that he's nippy. I mean, the ball comes quicker than what you expect from a small short guy. I mean, he's quite nippy. Kasun Rajitha, as you said, he's in and out, some injury concerns, few games he couldn't play for Bloomfield. But he's among the wickets, and I heard he's been bowling really well. And Lahiru Madhushanka, we spoke about him. And Prabhat Jayasuriya, I think, is most likely to replace Rangan Herath once he decides when he's going to hang up. I think he's a good bowler. He's a good bowler, has done well in 18 cricket. So it's all important. He takes wickets there to the next level to get there.
Right, now the 4-day tournament is done and dusted. Gaul are the winners, and now the more exciting stuff, the 1-day stuff, the white ball stuff. We're going to have the inter-provincial super 50-over tournament, if that's the right word, comprising of 4 teams again. The first games, or the first of the matches, will start, or the first round of matches, I should say, starts on the 2nd of May. Now, the last time it was won by Dinesh Chandimal's team, Dinesh Chandimal leading Colombo. Now, do you see this as competitive as the game goes on, as the tournament progresses, considering the injury worries that the players are having?
I think what I heard that after the first 3 games, I mean, the probable West Indies test cricketers won't be playing the 2nd round.
Okay.
So
they'll be playing the one.
They'll be playing the first 3 games, but not the next 3 games, because there's 2 home and away games.
Right.
So all games will be in Colombo, but the probable test squad will be going to Kandy for a camp. So once those guys, I think about 20 or 22 players leaves, the competitiveness will go down a bit. But I think first round is going to be very interesting to see, because some of the squads are being taken to see. I mean, that's what I correctly said. At least we should have 6 teams in my eyes. There will be more players getting opportunities.
I think
5 a minimum, 6 a maximum for me, but
true.
definitely not 4, because look at the names who are out. I mean, they have performed so well. Unfortunately, they can't get a break. But I expect a competitive first round to start with.
Now, for everyone watching, I got good news. You can catch all the live action of these matches on ThePapare.com. So ensure that you log on to papare.com and watch the Super Provincial 50 over tournament as it unfolds from the 2nd of May. Now, let's focus a little bit more away from the senior cricket. Let's look at the schools under 19 limited over tournament. Are you a fan of this kind of tournament, playing limited over cricket for schools after the longer version? Are you someone who likes that, maybe even T20 for schools, before we kind of go through this?
I mean, definitely not T20 for me, for college. But under one days, I think I'm quite a fan of it, because I followed the last 2 games very closely. I was there commentating on ThePapare. I thought some of the performances are magnificent. I mean, we just speak about it in a bit. But coming back to your question, definitely a fan of 50 overs, but not for 2020.
Right, just to try and recap on those performances, I should say. The first semi-final, St. Peter's beat Mahindra the College by 9 runs. Were you there in that game?
Yes, I
was.
Good game? Yeah, very good game. I thought Mahindra lost it because you know, they chased in a wicket where it turned, and early
they
morning,
won the toss time.
They won the toss and they bowled. Oh. I mean, I was surprised to see, especially a semi-final on a pressure game. You know, they bowled, and they eventually found out that you know, chasing on a turner on playing a semi-final is not easy. That's where I lost the game. And credit to the St. Peter's spinners. Yeah,
Kanishka Madhuvanta of St. Peter's stood out, 4 wickets and 38 runs. A super all-round effort. And then Mahindra's rivals were in the other semi-finals. Richmond College. Now they managed to get through. They beat St. Thomas's by 5 wickets. Dhananjay Lakshan of Richmond, 5 wickets and 130 not out. Were you able to catch the action of his?
I did everything. I thought it was more of St. Thomas College against Dhananjay Lakshan there. I mean, he bowled, he picked up 4 wickets in the morning.
What does he bowl? Spinner?
He bowls a bit of you know, in swing.
Okay.
I mean, he decent pace. It has a good bounce. I was very impressed with the bounce he used. He bowls around something around 130 clicks maximum.
That's good.
But he swung the ball, and he took 4 wickets in the first spell. Came back, took a wicket. But when it came to his batting, I mean, he just dominated from the first ball. I mean, he looked a guy who takes it on from the first ball. But he was smart enough as well. I mean, Kalna Perra, the Santhomian fast bowler, they were number 1 bowler. But he didn't attack him that much. But the rest of them, he identified the areas, identified the gaps, and he was really positive. And you know, I was happy to see an all-rounder coming through in that way in a semi-final to finish off. Magnificent.
You know, that can be put down to cricketing maturity, isn't it? And identifying, understanding whom to attack, whom not to attack, and what your game plan is. Well, so the final coming up on the 28th of April, St. Peter's versus Richmond at Galle. Now you can catch the action live on ThePapare.com, Dialogue TV Channel 1 and Dialogue My TV. Are you going to be commentating on that?
Yes, I'll be. I mean, I'm enjoying my stint with you know, commentating, so I'm enjoying my time being around the ceiling.
We know that Farveez Maharoof is an all-rounder. He's to bat, bowl and field. Now he's been playing, he's now commentating. We've heard about something else I told you the last time. Well, we haven't still spoken about it, but let's see as we go along. Anyway, that's the story today on Around the Wickets on ThePapare.com. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure that you join the live action when the limited over tournament, the Super Provincial limited over tournament happens, and also the final of the schools tournament between Richmond and St. Peter's, and that happens on the 28th of April at Galle. Until we see you again, it's goodbye from all of us.